flex, the livest one in the section. With the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga, woof. I'm a 88 pack nigga, woof. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker, change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood, tryna stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. Lightweight, baby. It's time to bleed. It's beautiful. New Year's Eve. Last day of 2025. What'd you do with yourself this year? And this is actually a perfect ending to the year to do this show. Let me get a little deep on y'all. I'm going to hold up the mirror to the Fanatics today. And give you something to reflect on. But, you know, if you're not an adult, if you're a grown adolescent, and you wobble around life like you did nothing wrong, that's fine. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. You'll learn eventually. You'll learn eventually, but you learn at your own speed. I'm just going to be here to drop the gem on you. And what better day to do it? I mean, you really can't plan things any better than New Year's Eve. I got a lot to do today, but I said, you know what? I can't skip. I can't skip this. I got to give this message to Fanatics, and the message is what I've been saying since I started my channel. But you know, I don't seem to listen. But I'm gonna point some things out to prove my point. So let's do this roll call. Jalen Hudson, Columbia, my brother Rod Neal, Tay, good morning. Skinny Too Litty, Eric Jordan, Prince Savage, Brother Cole, Dill Spoolie, my brother I-Rock in the building. Jose, what up, brother? Rampage, Del Riff. Smash the like button, like the video, share the video, hype the video. Let's do everything that YouTube tells us to do, because we don't leave it up to Miguel to do anything for us. They share what they want to share. They share what they want to share. Want to know how funny algorithms are? I'm going to tell you. We could put out short videos about a fighter that's hot in these streets, right? And that'll get about maybe 300, 400 views. But the moment me and Stormy get on his show, and I ask him, what's the most embarrassing moment that you've had in school? And he tells that story. I get out of bed yesterday and the short pops up on my algorithm and it has over 1,300 views. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? How? How'd that happen? Well, I told you they do what they want to do. So we got to do it ourselves. So come on in. Have a seat. So let's talk about it. Enigmatic Son, salute. Let's talk about it. Y'all see I got Deontay standing next to AJ. The fight that never happened because of AJ, because of his affiliation with Eddie Hearn, because of everything going on over there. It's just a fact. We debunked this about 8 years ago now. And We're here. But that's not what I'm talking about this morning. We're going to go from present and we're going to kind of like work backwards. As you know, something happened with AJ and his camp. Horrible car accident. And he lost 2 people that were close to him. And that's very unfortunate. That's nothing to joke about. This is not an aha moment at all. It's actually ridiculous. We just know about the accident. We don't know the mechanics behind it. The internet is already doing what it does. Conspiracy theories, Jake Paul had him assassinated or tried to, look, I can't deny or confirm anything. There are a lot of things that are coincidental. This chubby face punk that y'all seen, and I'm saying y'all, the people in the internet world, y'all seen have made him famous. DJ Academics recklessly got online and he did what he does because all he saw was dollar signs. Mansa Musa, Tim Harmon, salute. All he saw was dollar signs. Put out some misinformation, and then when he goes live on whatever platform he's live on, he'll have 2,000 people in there hating on him. But what y'all don't understand is 2,000 people hating on him translates to dollars. Every time something bad happens to him, he goes online and talks about it. He was at an NBA YoungBoy concert or something. I read something because I don't follow him. I get this stuff in spurts. And somebody broke into his vehicle. Look, every time I turn around, this kid has some drama with him. He's nothing but a fat op placed inside the Black community to disrupt and do things and say things to us and get us all up in arms about him. You know what I mean? So that's my opinion on him. And he put out some misinformation. The dude said AJ was driving the vehicle. I mean, come on, bro. And when I saw the video, I said, he's getting out the back seat. I saw that immediately. I said, how's he driving from the... Man, this dude is something else. I heard he took down the comment, but did he apologize? No. So you guys got to watch these knuckle draggers that are in the limelight in our community. Guys like whether they DJ Academics or 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson. Y'all don't know that guy's a op? Let me just park here for a moment. 225 boxing talk. 5 is in the super chat. Salute. He says, blessings, Drew. This thumbnail hitting hard since AJ's almost died. Yeah. I'm making a point. I put these up here for a reason. I'm gonna get to it. Thank you, brother. When 50 Cent first came out, see, a lot of you YNs, y'all were either babies or wasn't born when he came out, because he seemingly came out of nowhere. But he was around before that. He used to be on mixtapes. He used to be he featured on an Onyx song called React. Then he had this thing where he was shot in the face, and all of a sudden he's talking slow now, and then he a waster, and you never pop nothing. And he came into the game and went right at Ja Rule, and Ja Rule was hot in these streets. One summer, I forget what year it was, but every other song on the radio was Ja Rule and this, Ja Rule and that. And I was like, I'm tired of this. And then 50 came and stepped on him. And he was everywhere. He was on GQ magazine with his shirt open. I'm like, there's something to this dude. Doing movies, and he's everywhere. Had a lot of success. He got series on TV, and I'm like, okay. But there's something with this dude. Diddy's having issues, and now he got something on Netflix, Surviving Diddy. I ain't watching that. But Bill Cosby drives to buy NBC, and he goes to prison. Yeah, Andrew, 50's a paid op, bro. Trick, my brother Trick in the building. Salute. Yeah, we're gonna get to it, Trick. We're gonna get to all of that. We're gonna get to all of that. That phrase, deal with the devil. Y'all have no idea where that comes from. Y'all have no idea what that means. Y'all play with words like Illuminati and things like that. It's really not that deep. It's just you being with the in crowd. If you want to achieve a certain level in any industry, you do have to cut deals and sacrifice yourself. In the modeling industry, you know, you don't get a certain place unless you got to sacrifice something. In the modeling industry, it might be your backside. Do the math. I'm trying to keep it clean. It's like that in the music industry. To get somewhere, okay, yeah, look, you could sell 1 million records. We could put that out, no problem. But come on this fishing trip. It's in all forms of entertainment. And the people with all the talent in the world that don't reach that pinnacle, don't be confused by it. They just didn't agree to do certain things. The dudes and the women with no talent that are in your face all the time. It's like, how is this person famous? Get a clue. Yeah, I don't think that's real. It's very, very, very real. It's very real. The casting couch, that's not a joke. I know that for a fact. I'm around a bunch of people that was super talented, whether they were dancers, rappers, singers, and they all told me once I reached that pinnacle, I went to this big office. I was in Manhattan, and I was ready to sign the contract. And next thing you know, I'm in the room with this dude, and there'd be a brother talking to me. I'm in the room with this dude, and the contract is there, and then he started talking about a quote unquote fishing trip. And he was like, "What? What do you? Oh, no, I'm not into that. Oh, okay. Well, all right. We'll see you later." And just like that, it was over. Just like that, it was over with. Just like that, it was over. It's like, what? What was going on? Yeah, that was your shot. You had to go home and get a real job. This is real shit that I'm talking about. But anyway, Fanatics, this is the message to you. I'm holding up the mirror to you this morning. And back on task with this Anthony Joshua situation. We're going to work backwards. AJ had a car crash. 2 lives was lost. He survived. I don't want to talk about the conspiracy theories because we can't deny or confirm anything. What I want to talk about is Fanatics' behavior. And I'm holding up the mirror in front of you right now. I want to talk about y'all behavior. Now, what happened to Anthony is unfortunate. I'm happy he survived with minimum injuries. I don't know what his mental state is going to be. You know, he lost 2 people that were close to him. That's unfortunate. By the way, I saw an article that they said his son was in the car. Turned out that that's not true. You see what I mean about these people? That's why I wait. I don't want to be first with this information. I want to be correct. All right. If his son was in the car, that would have been all over the look, man. I don't know. But let me be very clear. Let me be very clear. That's no laughing matter. 2 people died. The fella survived. I'm happy about that. A week prior to this, Deontay Wilder did an interview and revealed some information to you guys about what he went through with his ex-girlfriend. And he sat down. If you didn't watch it, it's on Cigar Talk. He talked to Najee about it. And he revealed that Telly, I'm not going to talk about all of that, but basically, Telly ain't shit. He accepted her into his household with her son. That wasn't his blood son. And he was actually building with her. right, redid his will and put her son in his will. Her son in his will. I know for a fact he helped her launch a fragrance company, right? Fragrance company or something like that. She had a perfume, all right? Her meeting him was literally a rags to riches story. She wasn't even a nurse. She was less than that. I think she was wiping asses in a hospital somewhere. Deontay met her, swept her off her feet, and go check my Patreon because I get a little more in detail with it. But this story, y'all are just now hearing it about 2 weeks ago. I knew this story when it happened last year. Remember who I talked to. I knew everything. But that's not for me to tell. I knew. Of course, Tay Jones knew. General knew. We knew. But this is not our story to tell. We knew. We said, man, that's messed up. So it's a year later and he's speaking out on it. So now it's fair game. And everybody's talking about it. These Manosphere channels are talking about it. They're talking like they know Deontay. No. He's a man who just mixed up with the wrong chick. And he caught it in time. But she did get him for $400K. $400K. Not $4K, not $400, $400K. And then tried to move the case to California. I mean, it was a mess. And these are things he was dealing with leading up to his fights with Joseph Parker, Zilly Zhang. Y'all have no idea. Not one time that I mentioned his mental state as an excuse. Not one time. And plus, he needed shoulder surgery. That was another thing. Y'all never heard me speak on anything. But whatever. But you know why I'm bringing that up? Message to the fanatics, because I go to the comments section. And what do you think they were doing to Deontay in the comments section? What do you think they were doing? Well, I'll tell you what they do. They are doing what they always do. That's what he get for picking the 304. Okay, fair game. But whoa, what's this? $400K, that's his life savings. Wow. That's his life savings. Life savings? Oh, I bet he wish he took that AJ. I bet he wish he didn't duck AJ those years ago. Maybe he'd have been sitting on 100 mil like Anthony Joshua's sitting on right now. Fought a lesser opponent. Made $100 million. $400,000, and he has nothing now with a bunch of smiling emojis. Now, they know that that's not true, but now they're just being evil about that. Now, as a man, you should hear his side and say, you know what, bullshit aside, he picked the wrong one. Things like this happen to men all the time. You know, the times we live in, this is not right. And I read a lot of those comments. And I said, wow. 8 years later, these niggas are still on this. I said, okay, well, there's nothing he could do about it. Deontay is very honest, and he was just talking about his situation. And this was man to man. That had nothing to do with boxing, by the way. And for her to have her son around him, and they're living in a life of luxury, in the moment, I don't know, he might have tried to discipline her son, like, yo, don't do that. What do you think this little nigga says to him? You not my dad. Well, nigga, where is your dad? Your dad, can your dad fight? Can your dad live in the houses like this? Can your dad just say, yeah, man, we're going to the Maldives today in a private jet? Can your dad do that? And he put up with that. Man, sidebar. You never. Yeah, Drew, I'm working on that, as a matter of fact. You don't marry a single mother. And I'll just leave it at that. And this is the prime example, because Deontay checks all the boxes. These women say they want a high-value man over 6 feet, right? Money, over 6 feet tall. He got fame. He got fortune. He checks all the boxes. And she still did that to him. You see what I mean? I know about the story the day she got caught. I'm not revealing that. I know about it. I know about it. I was told the day it happened. I said, oh my God. What? He's dealing with all that, and he got to train to fight Joseph Parker. He got to train to fight Zilly Zhang. I said, oh my God. And I never said a word. Never said a word. But I'm reading all of this in the comment section. They were dragging Deontay. What he should have did, what he could have did, and everything is his fault. And a week later, AJ almost died. Drew is not the same. It is. Let me explain. Fanatics, let me explain. Let me ask y'all, when are y'all gonna learn to shut the fuck up? In 2025, do y'all not understand that God was not playing with y'all all year long? Everything that y'all wished on every fighter, everything that you joked and clowned about, y'all got egg on y'all face. Now, I said we're going to work backwards, right? We are. We are. At no point did I wish harm on Anthony Joshua. I wasn't even worried about it. When he got in the ring with Jake Paul, the only thing that I said was, man, I hope he don't cut a jig and lay down for Jake. I hope he don't carry Jake. I done spoke to Eddie Hearn. I said, he's going to carry Jake Paul. And he said, no, and I laughed. And I said, well, he's a liar. I hope he don't. And AJ literally chased him down and got him out of there in 6 rounds. AJ wasn't playing with him. And I said, thank God. Thank God. Because he didn't need that. Freedom's March, I see you in the super chat. If y'all drop a super chat, I'm going to get to it at the end. I just got to cook on this. Salute to you, Freedom's March. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, brother. I said, thank God. And I was happy for AJ because that right there, the Jake Paul fight, he couldn't lose that. No. If he lost that or made it harder than it was, I'd have been like, AJ, come on, bro. No. No. He did the job, and then something happened to him in Africa, and he almost lost his life. That's how life works sometimes. There was a professional NASCAR driver a couple of weeks ago. He lost his whole bloodline in a plane crash, man. Him, his wife, and his 2 kids. They're gone. Life is just like that sometimes, man. You never know when it's your time. It's on God's time. You don't know. That's why you pray every day before you leave the house. You don't know. I live in a city. You know how many times bricks or something fall from the top of a building and hit someone upside their head? That's actually common. That's common. So I watched this thing with AJ and I said, that's unfortunate, man. I'm glad he's okay, but 2 people died. And I'm like, wow. I came from several pages when Deontay is talking about what happened with him and Telly. Poor Man's Podcast, O'Shea Duke Jackson got something to say about it. All these people, and I go to the comment section and everyone's dragging Deontay. Damn near saying good for him. And what did Deontay do to them? He's talking about what happened with him and Telly. There's still people in the goddamn comment section talking about, yeah, well, he should have retired after Tyson Fury whooped on him. Ha, 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 ha. And you don't know the ins and outs of what happened with that. You don't know what we had to deal with. You don't know what we know. Just like y'all are just not finding out what happened with him and Telly. I'm telling y'all, this is old news to us. We knew. We knew this. And that's why y'all don't like the LDBC. We knew this shit. Never spoke on it. Because if we did, y'all would just brush it off as an excuse anyway. But what I'm telling y'all is, Karma is a bitch you don't want to get in her DMs. You don't want no smoke with that bitch Karma. You want no smoke with her. Several things happen. In fact, I can go back to 2024. Several things have been happening right in your face. And y'all just kept up with the fucking behavior. You kept up with it. Now I done told y'all we gonna go backwards. But before I go backwards, Stormy, good morning, brother.
Good morning.
Salute, brother.
Yeah, salute. I'm a little fatigued. I had to do a little snow removal this morning. So,
Oh, boy.
you know,
Damn it.
it happens. But I'm glad I was home to be able to get that out the way. Thus my tardiness. So what we what we cooking on. I only know what I was hearing since I've been sitting here backstage.
We're talking about well, I'm sending a message to the Fanatics, and I'm putting out the comparisons between these two gentlemen right here and how the Fanatics have not learned a damn thing. Putting something out on somebody to bring somebody else up never works out. The universe is always watching. God is always watching. And when I was watching these, when Deontay did the interview on Cigar Talk and talked about how Telly got him for $400,000, and her son was telling him, yo, you're not my daddy. And after he put that little nigga in his will and all that stuff, you know, he was very open about it. And that wasn't a boxing conversation. That was a man-to-man conversation. And that was a notice for men, no matter what level you're on, whether you're a 9-to-5er or you're a professional athlete, you got to be careful when selecting a woman. You have to select a woman that's going to be a great mother to your seeds and a wife that's going to take care of you. You don't necessarily have to chase good looks. And he was being, well, that's my personal message, but he was being very, very open and honest about his situation. And you go to these comment sections and these dudes was clowning him. And I saw Anthony Joshua's name come up in all of those threads, a majority of those threads. They clowned him, you know, the Fury thing and the Parker thing, but I saw AJ's name coming up. I'm like, man, these clowns don't even know that fight not happening was all his fault. It was all AJ's fault.
Well, it's interesting because there's also another way to look at it. I saw someone in the chat a little while ago, they just mentioned karma has a way of, you know, presenting itself. But these two men are intertwined, whether they want to be or not. And it's because they are from the era where the titles revolved around them and their activity. Mm-hmm. And both have made bad decisions in circumstances that's just a normal, part of everyday life. Like, let's look at Deontay's situation. Deontay has shown strong resolve and character throughout the entire process. Also, a certain manner of respect and dignity. And in that, for that, he has been, you know, vulnerable to certain things that we now have seen that have come to light publicly and everything, but the public still hasn't acknowledged what was done to him publicly by the establishment of the profession that he participates in. Then flip that over, and AJ, who is really not the most worldly man as far as understanding things, he has a very immature outlook on things, as well as he has not enough what I would call people skills to deal with certain aspects of life. And it has shown in the same way and has arisen in his life, where just months after what happened to Deontay, something happened to him. And people don't want to acknowledge it. And we put that together when it happened, and people still didn't pay attention to what we were trying to say. Not what we were trying to say, we said it. And to show the lessons not learned, we saw AJ go around and end up signing a lifetime deal.
There you go.
With these people that haven't guided his career well at all. They've put themselves in position for generational wealth, but they haven't put AJ in a position for legacy left behind. Think about that for a moment, and you'll realize who's profited off of the circumstances. Now, you mentioned Deontay going through personal circumstances and still trying to be a professional and go out there and take on the challenges. But a man can't be divided in his psychology going through peril. And we saw the results of that. Now it explains why we got certain effort, why we saw certain things, come to pass. And the Bible will tell you about Samson and Delilah,
Yep.
and other stories where women have befallen men and taken the grace and the strength away. The whole thing going all the way back to Adam and Eve.
That's right.
So this is nothing for anyone to make fun of with either man's plight. But as I said, they are intertwined because they are of the same era. They were supposed to face one another, and they didn't as a result of interference being run externally. Because at the end of the day, I do believe AJ wanted to fight Wilder. I do believe that. But the people that were talking in his ear and the people that were guiding his career steered him away, because what they wanted to do is ride the gravy train of undefeated and the marketing that they created behind him. And that's why you didn't see him grow as a fighter with better trainer and coaching input, teaching input and development, because he's 35, 36 now, something like that. When he was going to be 24, 25 years of age, even when they got away from his original professional trainer after his loss to Andy Ruiz, they still could have done some things to bring him closer to trying to be a complete fighter, because he was young enough to learn certain principles of boxing. And he didn't get that. And remember, I talked about once a person starts acquiring economic means of comfortability, it's hard to get through to tell them anything, because now they have access to the things that they wanted out of life, and they can say no to people, and people are always saying yes to them because of their status in society and things of that nature. So it's hard to break through when it's like that. You have to have a certain amount of character at your base that will make you, it'll kick in and say, you know what, I need to make some changes. Which is why when you saw AJ make changes, he tried to make changes that suited him as far as what he wanted, but he didn't make the changes that could suit making him better. You see? And being better, becoming better, sometimes involves the difficult in life. And the difficult is what's, doesn't feel good. It presses you, stresses you. It puts pressure on you, and it will put you in a place of like, I don't know if I really want to do this. But see, that's the process, because it's just like when you are injured, the body has to break down before it begins to heal. And that process is painful sometimes. It's like if you've ever suffered a burn, you form that scab first, and then when that starts to peel, it's like it's painful. You feel those nerve endings that are active and everything. It's like, whoa. And then finally, after you've totally healed, it's like, wow, I remember when I hurt myself there, that was a process I had to get through. You see what I'm saying? That's life. That's life. And see, again, for me to say the things that I'm saying right now, I know a lot of you haven't even considered or thought of this or even care of what I'm saying, because it's very convenient for you to be dismissive of that, because what it will do is require you to look in a mirror, because this is not one above all. This involves us all, which is why compassion is important, and understand what mortality is and vulnerability happens to be in a place in our lives. So it's interesting that you even got them in this thumbnail meme up here together like this, because again, this is all what I see and have taken away from the experience over the past decade of these two men circling one another in the heavyweight division. And even now, with what just recently happened to AJ a couple days ago, we're seeing some things where his vulnerabilities are now being exposed to the world. And there are people taking up that story and everything and trying to create content off of it with lies and all kinds of disparaging things.
Disgusting.
And again, this is this man's life, just like Deontay's circumstances. That's his life. It could very well be you. It could very well be me. And so think about that. That's what takes us back to the word I mentioned a moment ago about compassion, because you shouldn't want that for anyone. You should want us all to be able to gain and elevate. But the reason that people don't do that is because they've been influenced to not have compassion. Do you actually understand? Then when you show humility and you are able to be accepting of someone else and give them a hand up, it actually elevates yourself. Do you not know that?
No, they don't.
This is what people don't understand. And this is why, again, like for what we do out here, what I do specifically on my channel, this is why I accept no foolishness, because my mind is always on, my eye is always on the sparrow. You understand? And it is important to live that way, not in the murkiness and darkness, but walk in the light. Because in the light, there's clarity. And with clarity comes understanding. Those are my opening remarks, my brother.
Yes, sir. And I told y'all this morning, I'm gonna make y'all hold a mirror up to y'all face and look at yourself. Like I just did some dude on Pep Talk. You know, like I said, when you come to class late, you don't know what we're talking about. Check the temperature of the room. Check the temperature of the room. G-Eazy. G-Eazy. I'm not here to talk about whose fault it was, because I know whose fault it was. I was here the whole time. I know the ins and outs, but that's really not what I'm talking about this morning. I'm talking about the demeanor and the lack of compassion, like Stormy said, when Deontay's being open about what was going on in his personal life. All I saw was fools in the comments section dragging him and making fun of him. And I saw Anthony Joshua's name popping up, and Anthony Joshua had nothing to do with the decision that Deontay made to form a relationship with an ungrateful chick and her son. What does AJ have to do with that? Nothing. But those fanatics kept talking about it. And a week later, this kid almost loses his life in a car accident. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that God did that in defense or to show y'all personally. I'm just telling you that that's just life. But there has to be something to that. Now, let's walk it back. Devin Haney. Y'all know I was going to go here. Devin Haney versus Brian Norman. And I have a Brian Norman live that I'm going to do. And again, I'm gonna put the mirror right in front of y'all. We'll get to that when we get to it. Devin was supposed to die that night. If you let the Fanatics tell it, if you had let the pros tell it, the Hall of Fame pros tell it, Devin was supposed to die that night. And y'all know who? Sean Porter, Tim Biscuit Bradley, the Fanatics that hate Bill and Dev, the Fanatics that wish harm on Bill and Dev. They wanted Dev to die and Bill to cry right there at ringside. Well, Devin was not disturbed by anything because he's a professional. And Bill definitely knew what he was doing. And we saw the results. And I know it's like the James Bond movie, The World Is Not Enough. Devin was supposed to run and hide and get stalked and killed and everything else. Didn't happen. In fact, he outboxed Brian, dropped him in a second. And that's not good enough for y'all. He was supposed to get rid of him, right? No. Brian Norman is also a professional. He's a very, very tough kid. I like Brian Norman Jr. I really do. I can't wait to do that live. Watch. I'm waiting for the right time to do it. He did the best he could, but I said that I don't think he had enough experience to compete with Devin. That's all I said. That's all I said. And it played out exactly how I said it was going to play out. Hold that mirror up in front of your face, Fanatics. Because there was a lot of people more angry that Devin won that y'all forgot to be sympathetic towards Brian Norman Jr. That he came up short. Y'all said, F that. I just hate the fact that Devin won. Who are y'all? How many of y'all said, hey, man, I got to give Devin credit, man. This did not play out how I thought it was. You put that mirror, look at yourself in the mirror. How many of you can look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, man, you know, I had it all wrong? That term humble, humility. Y'all fling those words around and y'all don't exercise it at all. At all. Be humble, be humble, be humble. Humility. Y'all don't exercise that at all. Y'all wish Devin harm. Y'all didn't want him to win. In fact, y'all wanted him hurt. Well, nothing happened. And the fight didn't even play out how you thought it would. I said that Devin's going to be stronger than Brian in the clinch, or at least be able to compete. Devin looked very strong to me, so much to the fact that y'all just said, he got to go to 54 now. What? So Devin understands there's no winning with you. So why is he going to worry about you? He's going to do what he needs to do. D.O., like a normal person. And let's go back earlier in 2025 when he fought at the Fatal Fury. Oh, he ran around the ring. He ran around the ring. Okay. He also broke up homie's ribs. His hair was all leaned over and he had to go to the hospital. Devin went to the after party. I was there. It was a shutout. Oh, he ran. Wait a minute. Y'all just got done telling us that he can't avoid a left hook. He didn't eat a left hook during the Ramirez fight. He didn't eat a left hook during the Brian Norman fight. And his left hook is his punch. Are y'all done eating your own words now, you fanatics? What did I tell you about that term fanatic? What did I tell you about it? Remember I did a whole show and I broke down a fanatic. Don't you understand? That's why I like to call myself a fan. Fan is short for fanatic. A fanatic is not a good thing. A lot of you guys are obsessed with hating on people. You're obsessed with it. And it's for all the wrong reasons. Now, if I was a jerk, I can go back to all of those videos and go to those comment sections, and everybody that has something negative, because one comment sets off another comment, sets off another comment. Now you got 30 people in there clowning Deontay over what happened with him and Telly and her child. Now I could be a jerk and go back to those comments and say, what happened to AJ and his boys? Your thoughts? With a bunch of smiling emojis. But that would be disgusting, wouldn't it? You see, they don't see them doing anything wrong because they're fanatics. Fanatics are horrible, scary people. They're like crazy. They're crazy. And we're obsessed with the destruction of someone. Obsessed with the destruction of someone. That's a sad state of affairs, and that's very dangerous. But Drew, I remember you told Sugar Hill you hope he died in a car fire. It's not what I said. Context. Go back and watch the video. I'm tired of telling y'all that. Context. And I'm not obsessed with anything that Tyson Fury does because I left it in God's hands. And what have we seen since then? It's not on my time, it's on his time. I saw him fight on a fair playing field. He went life or death with Francis Ngannou. Almost lost that fight, right? Almost lost to an MMA fighter. Gets in the ring with Usyk 2 times. Almost gets knocked out, right? Lost 2 times. And I watched AJ get in there with Ngannou and smoke him in 2 rounds. And I said, y'all can't tell me that Tyson Fury is that dude. You can't tell me that. Without the drugs and the tainted gloves and everything else and poisoning his opponent, that's what you got. A 6'7" punching bag. That's what you got. Told you. All I did was watch him, and it proved to me that what we saw and what we know about what he did to Deontay is absolutely true. Just like the Ryan Garcia thing. No drugs in his system. He can't even outbox Rolly Romero. Now let's go further back to 2024 with Devin. We at the fight, Devin allegedly loses. We ate that. That's fine. By the time I got to St. Martin, I got a phone call saying, yo, this dude cheated. I said, what? I said, oh, God, I hope Vada's wrong because I don't want to deal with this because I know what comes with it. And you haters spent a significant amount of time, even a lot of you knuckle draggers, y'all flipped on, y'all was waiting to flip on us. I told y'all I'm getting text at 5 in the morning. I'm trying to catch a flight out of New York to St. Martin. And I get dudes that I thought were cool with me texting me the word karma. I'm like, what is this? Oh, I get it. You're a Tank fan. Karma? Yo, man, when I got with the LDBC, man, I thought we were pro-black, man. Pro-black? Well, I am. It's Tank? Why are you calling me up about something that happened between Devin and Ryan, and you hit me up talking about Devin? What the Tank had nothing to do with that. What are you talking about? Oh, I see. He's invited him out for Starbucks and with shots of liquor in it. Oh, so you want to troll? Goodbye. Don't ever fucking call me again. Don't ever text me again, you faggot. And it was a bunch of y'all. Old niggas and young niggas. It was a bunch of y'all. Dominican niggas too. Singing Dominican niggas with fucking penciled in beards. Yes. I'm like, yo, stay off my line, bro. And then when we found out what we found out, it came out. And then they stuck to their guns. Old niggas. Oh, there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason. They have a reason. They meaning us, the LDBC. They have a reason to want this kid to be guilty. It's not us. This is the news. If he's not guilty, he's not guilty. And he ran around and checked the B stamp on this, and then what did we find out? He cheated. And then he wasn't the problem. It was the drug. It was a billionth of a gram, and it was this, and it was that. And then he wilds out, starts getting on these drug binges. He's assaulting his wife, his ex-wife, getting arrested for that, getting escorted out of hotels for ruining rooms. And then you find out he's a racist. And y'all left with that? Who was the problem, the LDBC or what Ryan did? Now, one time that I get on here and make anything up about him. I was saying what happened. Y'all knew what I knew. Y'all interpreted, y'all interpretation was to suit your agenda, your agenda. You didn't like Team Haney. I get it. But you abandoned your blackness in defense of this kid? You hate yourself that much? You hate yourself that much? Really? And then fast forward, he's suspended for a year. He's supposed to smoke Rolly Romero, and not only does he lose every part of that fight, he got dropped in the second round. What is it with this nigga and getting dropped in second rounds? What do I always say? Don't time reveal all truth? And he still could have fought Devin. He said no. He said no. All of these lies, oh, you don't sue somebody for losing. Y'all don't even know what the fuck the case was and the information was available. Y'all just wasn't listening. So he cheats Devin. He's a racist. He loses the Rolly when he's not on the juice. He could have fought Devin anyway. He fakes a hand injury because I haven't seen no MRIs. I haven't seen no x-rays or anything. And y'all do know that a hand injury is the most difficult to approve, right? He disappears and he pops up and he's getting a title shot. Meanwhile, Devin fights Jose Ramirez and y'all rip him for his performance. Then he comes back and fights Brian Norman at a heavier weight class. He's supposed to die, and that didn't happen. And instead of tipping your hat saying, you know what, I might be wrong about this kid, y'all sticking to y'all guns. Now, what's worse? Me telling Sugar Hill, man, hey, man, when I felt that you had something to do with those gloves against my brother Deontay, you know what I said, Sugar? I said, I hope everybody involved dies in a fucking car fire. But you know what? If you're telling me black man to black man that you had nothing to do with it, I'll take you at your word. But I do hope you understand the term in concert, because what's in darkness always come to light. And you'll get caught up in that. Hope you understand that. He's a former cop. He understands exactly what I was talking about. That's what I told him. Now, is that as bad as this? Southpaw saying, I pray Devin die. He put the shit in writing and put it on Twitter. With a nice little avatar tank there, because he wants to suck his penis. He put that in writing. Why? All Devin does is win. When I said what I said in reference to Team Fury, they tried to commit murder. That's unacceptable. Devin's not a cheat. Y'all tried to put that on him. Fail. More on that tomorrow. You guys are out of line. But hold that mirror up. When you talk about Devin Haney, hold that mirror up and then tell me what you see. You were wrong. You were wrong. And y'all can't accept it. So that was happening in 2025. God ain't wasting no time with y'all. He's not. There's some more, but Stormy, your thoughts on that? You're on mute, brother. He might have stepped away.
Sorry about that. You know how sometimes you could be on mute and you be trying to.
You don't know. Yeah.
It's like, yeah. No, man. You know what? 2026 should be a pivotal year where we swing the pendulum. Dude, we got to hold people accountable.
Yes.
We got to hold people accountable. We got to put our foot on their neck. We have to, tolerance needs to be minimized. It's time for no tolerance. In order to bring about the change that you want, sometimes it's got to be radical. That's just like you know, when our doctors tell us, hey, you got to do this or do that, or this or that is going to happen, or you're headed down this path. And yes, it could be extreme. It could come across as radical in that situation. But if you want those changes to enrich your life, it's something that has to be done. It's just like, you know, you heard me say earlier, I went out for snow removal this morning. I had saw the forecast before I went to bed last night, and I was like, okay, it's probably going to be a few inches of snow. And sure enough, it was. But by me getting out there early like I did, it's still soft and everything, able to be pushed to the side is fine, as opposed to waiting till late in the day. And this is like New Year's Eve, right? So it's like temperatures could fall, things freeze up. Now you got a whole different problem. So that thing about snapping out, getting up, being radical, get to moving, that moniker that you use, move, this is all relative, but it's time to start incorporating. It's time to start incorporating, because dude, you know, Cat Williams, you and I talked about this. He said something last year, you know, that kind of started breaking the ceiling, breaking the ice on these circumstances. And it's time for people to pick a side, man. Damn and right. When we talk about picking a side, that side is not a side of comfort. It may be a side of being very uncomfortable to get things done, to get things moving.
Real stuff. Who the GOAT says unblock me. You're not blocked. I'm looking right at you. You're not blocked, brother. I'm looking right at you. Who the GOAT?
So as far as your last comments, what do you specifically want me to interject on? Because I will. I know I just wanted to say that.
I just wanted your thoughts. You know, holding up the mirror in front of these guys. You know, they basically. I've watched people laugh at misfortune and hope for misfortune on people that are just putting in work, and hoping misfortune on certain fighters and wishing misfortune on certain fighters. And then you look at their contemporaries, and their contemporaries are going through their own misfortune. So never mind who you're rooting against, their rival, their contemporary. Look at what they're dealing with.
But now, you know what that is, Drew? It goes back to that certain aspect of dysfunction that we talk about often, and there's no way of getting around it. The participation trophy society.
That's right.
Do you remember being in school where when you accomplished something, you did very well on an exam, or you kind of aced a particular subject during a stretch of classes or courses, whether it was grade school, high school, even time in college, when the professor, teacher, instructor, whomever, when they acknowledge your work and they say, you know, I could tell you really put your efforts into this, and they'll let you know, just like they'll let those who don't know as well. Well, somewhere in our society that shifted to the point of giving credit to those who are lacking effort, who are not trying as hard, who are not as versed, who shouldn't be passed along. And it leveled the playing field as far as us moving forward socially, but there were people who just didn't make the grade, but they were still where you are. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when you apply for work and you know that you have the credentials, you have the experience, you have this, that, and the third, and then they hire a dude that just got out of rehab. And you're like, okay, I don't even use drugs. I'm, you know, this and that. But it's like, well, we still have to give people like this a job too. But the trickle down from that is if you hired him as the postman, your mail's not getting delivered on time. It's getting misdelivered. Sometimes the mail don't even make it outside of the doggone travel truck that they put the mail in. Haven't we seen news reports of they found mail trucks with mail in it that was left abandoned by a postal person?
Yep.
We've seen like countless stories of that kind of stuff happen across the states. And it's like, what the hell was wrong with that mail person? Didn't I just tell you about that person that was in class with you that didn't make the grade, whatever? You overlook these things. They become adults too. And they out here dysfunctional in society too. And so then when you talk about in our personal lives, where we sit back and we watch sports and entertainment, or even movies or music and stuff like that, these same dysfunctional people, they attach themselves to the dysfunction in society.
Because they identify with
yes.
Yep.
And it's influential. It becomes strong. And some of them become content creators. Some of them become like martyrs for entertainment or whatever. You see these dudes mumble rap and stuff. These dudes look tattoos all on their face and on their lips and stuff. It's like, dude, there's something wrong with you.
Yep.
Just because society don't say nothing anymore, do you know that you used to couldn't get employment if tattoos were showing on your body?
Man, I
am old enough to know these things, people.
Yeah.
There used to be, up until I want to say the late 80s, you could walk into an establishment and on the door it would say, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
That's right.
You couldn't take your security pets in with you. You couldn't come in there with your pajama clothes on. And if you weren't at a neighborhood store or something like that, you couldn't walk into Carson's with bonnets on your head and all of that. Flip-flop, not flip-flop, but them fuzzy house shoes and all of that stuff. Security will stop you right at the door.
That's right.
I remember those things. But somewhere along the way, somebody, whether it was our aldermen and precinct captains or mayors and governors, they say, oh, well, we should lift that because it's really discriminating. No, it's not.
It's not, man. It's crazy.
That's not a discrimination. My brother Will Sinclair's comment in there, he says, bring back shaming people. Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, bro.
Yes. Yes.
When you tell someone their hair needs to be combed, they need to wash under their armpits and below their underwear, and that they need to be presentable. If you walked into a courtroom, I don't care what kind of hearing it could be for a damn traffic violation. You should not be walking in there with your San Francisco Giants tank top on and Jordans. You really shouldn't. You should go in there with a nice shirt and tie, or even a button-up shirt, collared shirt. Put a sport coat on and some slacks and shoes. I don't care if the shoes are penny loafers, but you walk in there presentable. As soon as that judge casts an eye upon you, there's an automatic consideration for respect.
Yeah.
Who's teaching that? Somebody's not, because guess what? I haven't been in traffic court in a few years, but when I was last there, I saw some people and I'm like, whoa.
You're looking guilty.
You're
looking guilty.
Yeah. It's like, when the cops profile, right? And people get mad. Oh man, he was just profiling me and everything. But then if you really looked at that person's behavior, Drew, you know how you be making those monkey memes and everything? That's exactly what you reflected. And somebody ain't told them, straighten up your walk, pull your damn clothes up, tuck your shirt, cut your hair.
Yep. I had to learn that the hard way.
I mean, seriously.
Let me
and the influences that they take in externally is all the wrong foolishness. That's just like it's a ton of them out there now. They watch my channel and they just be looking. They won't hit the like button or nothing, but they be there. What they there for? You don't even like what I'm saying.
They're looking for an aha moment. They want you to be wrong on something so they could jump in the chat and start arguing because they grew up around dysfunction and arguing. Daddy wanted to leave and he didn't really want you. And your mama tried to trap your daddy, but he couldn't be trapped because he's a free spirit, but she chose him, and you know, that sort of thing. So you come online and you know, you try and pick fights. You know, Stormy, you remind them of the father that they didn't have, because you speak with sense, and they didn't have no structure in their household, so they hate it when they see a man speaking with sense and don't have cornrows all up in their head and going in all directions with tattoos on their face, because they wanted the streets to raise them. You know, they're in the streets, their mom's twerking in the streets, both of them watching BET, if they even watch BET anymore, and listening to the same music as your mama, as your fast mama. You got siblings and none of them look alike, but you got the same mama, you know, and that's normalized for y'all. You know what I mean? So these are the people. They run online, and I say all the time, just because you go where it's therapeutic don't mean it's therapy. You motherfuckers need help. Now, let me address what the brother Edward Morris says. He says both men get a tremendous amount of criticism for in the ring and out of the ring. Let me say this. That's not accurate. And I know that's a diplomatic statement you're making, but it's not accurate, brother. It's not accurate. Let me explain how. Deontay Wilder got a tremendous amount of criticism for his in-ring performances, even though he had at one point, the highest KO ratio in boxing. Although he was knocking out everybody, they always talked about how he looked doing it. I've never seen anything like that in my life. They never said that about George Foreman. Go back and watch George Foreman when he had the afro. It wasn't like cute to watch. He took a lot of punches. He punched with open palms, but when he knocked your head off, it don't matter how he looked. I don't recall. I wasn't born or I was a baby, you know, but I don't recall my pops or my uncles. They were talking about how ugly his style looked, you know. Aaron Pryor's style, they call that term windmill was invented because of him. He had a windmill style. That was Aaron Pryor. Did y'all know that? Probably didn't know that. So Deontay got a bunch of criticism in the ring because him and AJ were contemporaries, and AJ was the British with straight teeth guy, handsome kid. They put him on the front cover of GQ magazine, and Deontay is the opposite of that, but he's driven. And that's why I said this would have been a great fight, because AJ has basic boxing skills and Deontay's awkward. It's funny how Manny Pacquiao had an awkward style. They call his style awkward, but Deontay is a windmill. You understand what I'm talking about? So they respect one and not the other. So in the ring, Deontay was hella disrespected. They didn't start questioning Anthony Joshua until he came to New York and lost to Andy Ruiz. All right. Now, outside of the ring, I'll give you an example. I just told you that I just shared that when you go to any channel and they were talking about when Deontay was open about what he went through with Telly, in those comment sections, those people were tearing him apart, and they brought up AJ's name. AJ didn't ask to be there, but they brought up AJ's name all over the place. It's like they resurrected something that was killed like 9 years ago. It's like, why y'all still talking about this? AJ didn't want the fight. They didn't fight. Eddie Hearn didn't want the fight. They didn't fight. We talked to the team. We know these things. No casual or no fanatic that don't have a straight line to Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder's camp. They can't tell me what I know. We have a direct relationship with Bomb Squad, a direct relationship. And Tay Jones does talk to somebody that is on AJ's team directly. So when I get on here and say it was his fault, I'm not just saying it. It's legitimately their fault. He's the A side. He could have made the goddamn fight. And this is what we're not dealing with here. You see, we going into 2026, I'm not dealing with foolishness. I said what I said. ASAP. And actually, I'm going to get off that because this is not really what this is about. This is a message to the fanatics. You see what I'm saying? Like that dude in the chat. That's a fanatic. I said what I said. It was his fault. That's it. It was their fault. It was Matchroom's fault. Everything.
That's ignoramus there. You see, people like that, they want to come in and throw shots and stuff like that, but they're not here for the benefit of
right. They're not, and they don't want to hear it.
The show is about and what the content of discussion is, and that's merely a distraction.
That's why he's gone.
That I spoke of when I was speaking earlier. You see, because people, that's a choice. That's a choice. Just like you still have this comment up here where Mr. Edward Morris says both men get a tremendous amount of criticism for in the ring and out of the ring. And like you said, a statement like that is word salad, because when you look at what we're talking about in this subject, it's not about either guy per se. Remember, when I said what I said earlier with my opening remark, I said it could be you or I. Meaning you in the chat, you out there listening and watching, or even Drew, it could be either of us or someone specific, but the circumstances of what we're speaking about. There are choices that you make in life. And at the end of the day, you have to be able to stand by that and stand up or explain it or whatever. But at the same time, you can also choose reserve, and you can choose to try to take a moment out, let that marinate with me, and let me try to understand. But when you just want to be blocking, when you just want to kind of like, oh, this truck is going so smoothly down the trail, let's see how it does off road. You see, and there's too many people like that, which is why I was speaking earlier about having a short fuse regarding this thing. Zero tolerance. Because you guys been allowed to run free and run amok. That's why you got a guy in the White House like you got right now.
Exactly.
That's why. Because people been like, oh, you can laugh, ha ha ha. Remember when he was on TV and he was, you're fired and everything. Oh, he's a character. Now he's running your country just like he ran that show.
And it's a shit show.
Not entertaining now, is it?
It's not too funny. It's not funny now, right?
People's lives are being affected tremendously. But it's not just him, even the administration before. You were jumping from one pan to another just full of hot grease.
Imagine a Puerto Rican friend getting stopped by ICE and they're trying to send him to a facility. Puerto Rican? He's fucking American. What are you talking about? He came home, he said, man, I ain't never going to California again. So let me tell you what the fuck happened to me. He left his aunt's house, walked up the street, went to a store, came out, ICE jumped out on him. Where you from? Where you going? Where you going? Blah, 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 blah. Yo, my aunt live around the corner. Let me see some ID. He shows him a New York ID. You ain't from New York. Yes, I am. Where you really from? Where your parents from? Where you live? I was born in the Bronx, raised by way of Puerto Rico. I'm Puerto Rican, but I'm from New York. I'm American. This is what he had to deal with. Because of this nut job in the fucking White House, man. I ain't even trying to go there, but to finish my point about this crap, not this crap, and I'm being respectful, Edward. It's not equal, brother. It's not equal. And when I saw Deontay be completely abstract about his situation, I looked at the chat and I said, this is crazy. They can't wait to give it to this dude. They can't wait. Pause. They can't wait. And then a week later, this happens. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. You go to anybody that reported on AJ's misfortune, you won't find one Wilder fan in there that mentioned his name. Oh, I bet he wish he fought Wilder now. Because it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Bringing up AJ when he's talking about what happened with him and Telly is irrelevant. You won't find one Deontay fan in there clowning this situation or saying, good for you, you should have fought. No, because it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. We've defended him in the comment sections when it came to boxing. That's it. But it's irrelevant. But you know what I did see? I did see AJ clown Deontay when he did his Till This Day speech to Radio Raccoon. I did see AJ clown him and his Fanatics clown him. To this day. Whole time you driving in a cart full of monkeys, bruh? Now tell me where that's equal. Y'all forgot about that? I didn't. I'm like, hold on, man. That to this day, when he said to this day, do y'all even know what that was? I saw Deontay gain fans, my parents' age, when they say, well, hold on, who's this young brother? He's a boxer. I fucks with him now because they haven't heard a fighter today speak up their people with such passion, such vigor. He earned the respect of elders when he said that, and it came from his heart. Now, why is it that when Mike Brown got murdered by that cop and Deontay went down there and marched, I was still on Facebook when that happened. Oh, he's just doing that for clout. He's just doing that for popularity. No, he's doing it because he loves his people and it needs to be done. But when Anthony Joshua was in the UK after George Floyd was murdered, and he got on the mic and he said what he said, I watched those crackers flip on him. I hope you lose your next fight. This is why I never trusted you. I watched that happen. And I watched Eddie Hearn. I did a live stream when that happened. I watched Eddie Hearn be a diplomat in reference to that. No, Eddie, bro, if you wanted to protect your buck, what you should have did, Eddie, was say, y'all need to leave him alone. This happens to black people all the time. He's just speaking up for his culture, his people. Jews do it all the time. Asians do it all the time.
But Hearn didn't do that because Hearn feels the same way.
Thank you. That's why Hearn didn't do it. So when y'all guys come in here and talk to me and saying it was equal, it is not equal. It is not. And after all of that, he turns around and signs a lifetime contract with that dude. And then when I say Deontay's a boss, he ain't got a boss like Eddie Hearn. AJ has a boss, and that was his choice. That was his choice. It's not equal. So Anthony Joshua Fanatics, y'all don't have anything to say to me. Y'all really don't. Now, I've left this kid alone. I've made peace with the fact that he's never fighting Deontay. That's his choice. He made the fucking Jake Paul fight in 2 seconds, and in 8 years, he couldn't fight Deontay when they were one fight away from undisputed. I let that go, man. But I'm putting the mirror up in your face. It's not equal, Edward. It's not equal at all. It is not equal. He made this bed, he got to lay in it. And the point of this live stream is, I'm not even really talking about that. The point of the live stream is, I've watched all of these dudes jumping Deontay's shit over what happened with him and Telly. And a week later, AJ almost dies in a goddamn wreck and he loses 2 of his friends, though. And he's not really hurt like that, just his feelings. And I want y'all to understand, God ain't playing with y'all, man. And I'm not saying God did that because y'all did that in the comment section. I'm just saying this is how the universe works. Y'all got to know when to cut it off. Y'all got to know when to cut it off. Because this is ridiculous. And it's been happening to y'all all year long, and y'all not even paying attention. Y'all hoping and wishing death on Devin Haney. That dude Southpaw, I just showed you the tweet. Y'all hoping and wishing death on him. But meanwhile, Brian Norman has a loss. And, you know, when fighters lose, they do go through something mentally. How many of y'all say, hey, man, come on my panel? Hey, man, you all right? How many of y'all called up somebody that has a direct line to him and say, yeah, man, make sure the young king's all right? Minor setback for a major comeback. Y'all doing that? No. Y'all just forgot about him? No, because it's like, okay, Brian ain't get it done. But I swear to God, whoever Devin fights next, I'm rooting for them. Y'all were never Norman fans. But don't worry, I got smoke for y'all. Because y'all treating that kid fucked up. But I got smoke for y'all. I got smoke for y'all. But all of these things will happen in all 2025. And y'all not paying attention. Y'all don't learn any lessons. So no, it's not equal. This is very different. Y'all thought I forgot about that? Him clowning when Deontay went on his rant and said to this day. And he got on here and clowned about that while riding in a golf cart full of orangutans. I said, oh my God. How do y'all knuckle draggers feel about Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney now? Ryan ducked the fight. He could have fought him several times. He ducked the fight. He's off drugs, can't beat Rolly Romero. But dial it back. Y'all remember he sang Blessed and Highly Favored in the goddamn car with an orangutan? Y'all remember those comments? Oh, I'm glad to see you and Devin made up. Really? Really? Let me go somewhere else with it. Y'all know I'm going to talk about Mellow Yellow. I giveth, I taketh away. Fuck Lamont. Fuck Shakur. I'm not giving y'all no paydays. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to fight Jake Paul for $40 million. His Fanatics said, Drew, you black, right? Leave him alone. Let him get his money. He's going to spin the block and come back and fight everybody. I said, well, the man said he's retiring at the end of 2025. That's what he said. Well, I don't think he's going to come back and not do anything. He got some problems. He got to find out what he wants to do. He's going to come back and beat everybody. So is Tank Davis a liar? He's human. I didn't ask you that. So he's a liar. Okay. Well, he can't even get the Jake Paul fight right because he fucks around and gets arrested or gets involved with this girl. So he blew that payday. Now he got to fight, and he's talking about, I'm going to come back strong when my knee gets better. I need to see doctor's reports from now on from every fighter that I don't fuck with because y'all are liars already. I need to see a doctor's report about your knee and everything else. But he's not coming back to fight Lamont Roach or Shakur. He's coming back to fight a guy he beat already. He's coming back to fight a guy he beat already. And y'all cool with that. But put that mirror in front of your face. All that focus you doing on wishing Devin Haney harm, that's fine. But I watched your man fight to a draw, and he's not even trying to run it back. He's not even trying to run it back. And he said, I'm not giving you a payday. And I'm not giving Lamont Roach a payday. I'm not giving a Shakur a payday. And motherfuck Devin Haney. I'm not doing none of that. Right? And the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. And then he fucked up his $40 million payday. I didn't have to lift a finger. I didn't do any of this. In fact, I was one of the people saying, hey, I'm not comfortable with this Jake Paul fight, man. He's a little too big for this dude. All the skill in the world, there's weight classes for a reason, right? Y'all don't want Tank at 140, right? How's he going from 140 to 200 pounds? This dude could hurt him. I didn't like that, but I left him alone, and he couldn't get that right. And you know what he did? He pissed off Allah, Abdul Wahid, and he said, you know what? You ain't getting no payday. You ain't getting no payday. You was not in control of your emotions. You went and fucked around at a club with a girl. Whatever happened, and now you ain't got no Jake Paul payday. So now you got to fight. And what he thinks is safe might not be safe because both those guys, Lamont Roach and Eastside Cruz, are fighting at 140 now. And y'all just got done telling me that he's too big, he's too small for 140. And don't tell me that Eastside will go down for the money. Because another thing that y'all not factoring in is that Tank, with all these shenanigans, is not really the A-side that y'all think he is. That's number one. Number two, El Rayo told him no. Y'all forgot about that? El Rayo just boxed Eastside Cruz's head in, won a belt, and then here come Tank. I'll fight you in Baltimore. He said, all right, cool. Tank said, come down to 35. He said, nah, what are you talking about? El Rayo, with a knockout loss to Edwin De Los Santos, told Tank Davis no. Go figure that shit. Put the mirror up in front of your face. Things aren't what you think. Y'all saw Blue Bloods video? The PBC's finished. I'll be talking about that next week. They're done. The days of upfront money, $5 million, and on the back end you get 40, those days are finished. Y'all saw what happened with Oscar De La Hoya, all his antics. Those days are done. The Zone said, no, look, man, we're getting Boots versus Ortiz, or y'all can kick rocks. So all of that clap back Thursdays and Fridays, booty clap back Thursdays, that shit's over. That's over. And remember, casuals, y'all did this, but the casuals don't understand. Dapper Don's in that super chat. He says, first off, happy early NYE to you, or New Year's Eve to y'all all. My condolences to AJ having to survive to see such a traumatic event. Rest in power to both his friends. Read, they're good people. Life is short, fellas. Live it to the fullest, man. Salute, man. And I'm not making fun of AJ in that situation. That shit is tragic, man. That shit is tragic, man. That shit is tragic. And I don't know what his mental's gonna be. But you know what else I haven't seen? You want to talk about one-sided bullshit? You know what else I haven't seen, Stormy?
What's that?
I still see people saying, yeah, man, he's really gonna give it to Fury now because he's mad. Now one person say, hey, man, AJ's done. Mentally, he's done. Nobody said that. People are asking, should he retire? I don't know. How's his mental looking? I don't know. People are either asking, should he retire? But I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, no, this is going to make him tougher.
Well, let me chime in on that.
Yep.
Because you're talking about a fighter who never had a great deal of confidence to begin with.
There you go.
And who has been quite subjectively through his career fragile and has had a false sense of self. Even though he's imposing, 6'6", 250 plus pounds, muscle bound and all of that kind of stuff that can be intimidating for a lot of people, he might as well be 5'2" and 125 on the inside, because that's what's been reflected throughout this entire time that he's been a professional heavyweight. And we've said these things in a variety of ways, and people have been in denial about what's factual, which was the major dividing point between he and Wilder. In fact, he was known and quoted to have said of Wilder years ago, why is he so confident?
He said that.
when he was going into his rematch with Andy Ruiz Jr., he was so uncertain that he asked one of the, I don't know if it was Fight Hype or Fight Time or whatever those shows where the guys, multiple people be doing interviews. He was sitting in a car with the door open, and he was like, "Do you think I can win?"
That's what he said.
Yeah, it's out there. Don Charles, at the time when he was training Daniel Dubois, had said AJ was always a guy that was fragile inside himself. He has a trouble believing in himself. But I know that when he looks across the ring, going into the fight with Dubois, he says when he looks across the ring and he sees me, because he once worked with AJ early in AJ's career, he's going to fall apart. What was AJ's performance against Daniel Dubois?
It was the worst performance I ever seen him in.
So
it was worse than Andy Ruiz, because at least he dropped Andy early.
For all of the AJ supporters who are just supporting him because he's AJ, because they're infatuated and enamored with his physique and all of that other foolishness, sexperts, I've called them, evaluate from the standpoint of where I'm speaking on, and you'll see what more than likely is ahead for him. And that is a head case because he's been fragile. Oh, and one last thing, Drew, in chat. I didn't tune in to watch the footage of the situation that tragically happened a couple of days ago involving he and his friends. But is it true that coming out of the wreckage and everything, he didn't have a shirt on?
This dude never wears shirts. Oh, Lord.
But he was in a truck with men.
Yep.
He's always been photographed around men with shirts off, lathered up, maybe in what we would call baby oil.
Yep.
And Speedos and shorts.
Yep.
But you guys don't see that. You don't say nothing of it. Maybe you guys want to be there next or something. I don't know. But man to man, that is inappropriate.
Hey, man, I'd rather get got for 40K, 400K. Because mind you, that happened before the Zilly Zong match. So he got that back. So I'm not worried about that. He's not worried about that. 40K, and then I'd rather get got for 40K than be caught dead with a bunch of suspect situations around me. There, I said it. And note to yourselves, this is why y'all can't get into the y'all can't get into that kind of talk with us. Y'all can't get into that kind of talk because y'all tried when he was in the backyard with his family twerking and shit. Y'all tried. Y'all thought I forgot about that? Y'all tried. I'm like, so what? He was goofing around with his family. His woman, y'all seen his woman, Telly? She's a very pretty woman. But I was like, yo, man, what are y'all trying to say? I was like, okay, y'all want to look at AJ for real? Every time I saw him in the club, when he did have his shirt on, who was he with? A bunch of dudes. Who remember the Keith Thurman looking dude? Remember that? All right. And again, with being I'm not being insensitive to the situation, but you know, there was no shirts on, man. What's going on here? What's going on here? They weren't at a beach. Son of a beach. You understand what I'm saying? I don't just, in the hottest of summer days, I don't walk around with my boys with my goddamn shirt off everywhere. The gym, maybe. You going to the beach out here? Maybe. Y'all gotta stop, man. All these insults y'all fling. Deontay was very open about something he was going through, and y'all jumped in the comment section and did all of this. And I'm like, man, all right, man. Okay, here they go again. And then a week later, this happens. Now, I could get really raw with this. I can get really raw with this, but I'm not. Because I'm just going to let the situation speak for itself. Not at 86, my brother in that super chat salute. He said, salute Drew and salute to the mighty LDBC, man. Salute to you. Much love. Thank you so much.
And I didn't say that, you guys, to attack his sexuality. I didn't. But what I'm saying is being observant requires you to assess things from so many places. And remember, I said I did not watch the footage, and I asked, am I not mistaken when I asked, was he seen with no shirt on? Because this is more of that behavior that we have seen over the years. And it's just weird that some of you haven't taken a step back and put things, compartmentalize it and put things in its proper place. You can like him as a fighter. And if you're that type of individual personally that like him more than you possibly should in a more inappropriate manner, that's your personal business. But we're talking about things on so many different levels that at the top of it, where we're talking about character, resolve, and ethic, this is something that cannot be overlooked. And I gave you the example of that when I spoke about Don Charles, his former coach and trainer and mentor, stating that when he saw Mr. Charles across the ring from him on the night that he was going to face Daniel Dubois, he was going to fall apart mentally. Remember, that's where we were headed from the conversation. So someone in the chat earlier said, oh, this has gone way left. No, it hasn't gone, because I can always bring it back home to what I say. Remember, I've spoken about this before. When I say certain things, they have purpose behind it. And I can always go deeper and deeper when I say stuff. But we're dealing with the masses here. And when you're dealing with masses, people can receive information at different ventures. Some can get it right away. Some it may take a little time. Some may not ever get it. And some may have to be taken through the process of understanding. But all you have to do is ask.
Their egos won't permit them to ask because, again, people are afraid to admit when they don't know something, and that's the major issue with these grown-ass adolescents today. They're afraid to admit that they don't know something. That's why there's all these arguments online with these bullshit panels. They never could sit back and say, you know, I didn't know that. Maybe my opinion will change if I knew that. Oh, man, I didn't know that. You understand? In reference to this thing going left with the behavior, y'all laughed when Deontay had that dent in his head, didn't you? And we told you the mechanics behind that. It was proven that this dude had something in his goddamn glove. Nicholas Asbury said this guy was training against me I was sparring with this guy, and this guy put some shit in his gloves. Just Google Nicholas Asbury, put his name in I had him on my show, put his name in the YouTube engine. When he busted Fury with taking the padding out. And you know what Fury did? They didn't throw him out the gym and call him a liar and threaten to sue him. They said sorry to him. We were just trying to give our guy confidence. That's what they said. They never sued him. And then when he came out and said what he said, no one ever said, oh, man, you're lying. Oh, look at your career. No, that's not the point. His career or lack thereof has nothing to do with what Tyson Fury did to him in training camp. He said he turned the shit over and the egg weight fell out. And then now Deontay got a fucking dent in the side of his head. Doctors said, no, there was some shit there. Because Fury hasn't done it since. And he has a reputation of cheating people. And I know AJ fans laughed at that and said it was bullshit. And even though it's not bullshit, we don't care. You don't care? Okay, hold that mirror up. Look what almost happened to AJ. Some of y'all watch Dragon Ball. All right, let me get a little nerdy on y'all. Some of y'all watch Dragon Ball. I see my brother Steve L. Cali, salute. Goku has this move called the Spirit Bomb. He holds his hands up and he collects all the energy from people on the planet and around the universe and everything. And it's one ball of energy and he throws that, and it's good energy. And he throws it at the villain, and that's how he wins. Well, you know what the reverse of that is? All of this bullshit you try and put on fighters that incidentally we support, Deontay, Devin, anybody. And you hate on these fighters. And you're putting out that bad energy. And look what almost happened. Well, look what did happen to AJ. And I don't know what kind of person he's going to be after this. Mentally, he might be gone. Who knows? But he was never mentally strong in the first fucking place. And I just left it on Deontay and Devin. But, you know, look what happened to Teofimo. Remember all that bad energy he put out and then got in there and lost to George Kambosos and then said what he said about Devin still? I asked this dude 3 weeks ago, is this your plan the whole time to fight Shakur and then spin the block and then come back and fight Devin? He said there's motion now, right? Let me tell y'all something. If he goes in there and mops the floor with Shakur, he's still not fighting Devin Haney. Why? Because of everything he said in the past. There's something about Devin. He don't want to lose to that dude. There's something there because Devin will beat him badly. This isn't Shakur. This isn't Lomachenko. This is Devin Haney. Devin is greater than y'all even believe he is. Why do you think no one's fighting this kid? Why do you think Tank said no? Why do you think Tio said no? Why do you think Shakur won't answer the damn phone? They see what you don't see.
Why do you think Ryan went in juiced up?
Juiced up, and then he could have fought him again. And he's saying, no, my hand broke. I'm telling you what it is. But I'm just talking shit because I'm on Devin. I'm on Bill's payroll, right? I'm on his payroll. But I know what I see. Everything y'all put out in the universe, it came and mushed you in the face, and y'all still don't see it. Y'all gonna rock and roll into 2026. There's gonna be more egg on your face, or egg and other things.
Bukaki.
Yeah, Subriel Matias. Remember he killed someone in the ring? And Bill pulled up on my channel. Cali was on my goddamn panel the day he did it. And he said, yeah, we looking for Subriel Matias. And I had knuckle draggers talking about, hey, you know, he lied about that. I said, man, get the fuck out of here. Bill was lied to and then called the boxing voice and said, all right, I was talking to the wrong person in Peter Khan. Now I'm talking to the right people now. What's up? Oh, we'll call you back in 2 weeks. Do y'all understand that was like 2024, early 2024? In other words, Subriel didn't want any smoke. And y'all just ignoring all of this? What do I always say? Time reveals all truth.
One of the demands and changes I would like to see for 2026 is specifically, you know, we do have ring deaths every year. And I am not, and Clarissa was very smart for pointing it out because she mentioned it in an interview earlier this year where she spoke on that, saying how many, you know, there have been annually. and I don't want to repeat the number or figure because I could be inaccurate, but what I would like to see is the flip side of fighters who suffer brain injuries and ring deaths, that their opponents be tested more stringently, because I do believe we have had ring deaths where the other opposing fighter was dirty. I believe that in my spirit. I believe that.
Yeah, something's not right. Something's not right with it. And I know accidents happen, but these cats popping like popcorn all over the place, male and female. And that's something we didn't do in our year in review. How many fighters pop dirty? Because I know down the stretch in November, Stormy, there was a couple. There was a few.
The whole fourth quarter of the year.
Dudes was just popping. And I don't care.
Fourth quarter of the year. And guess what? They were people at the top of the sport.
Yep.
Not the mid-level guys and contenders and everything that be fighting on. We're talking about the top people, championship fighting people. Erica Cruz, who fought Amanda Serrano a few fights back, was going into a second challenge for her for the fight that Amanda's having this coming Saturday. She popped dirty. We had Joseph Parker back in, what was that, September, when he fought against Truck. He popped dirty. Sabril Matias, within weeks, same thing. These are all top flight fighters at the top of the sport in different divisions, popping dirty.
At this level. Main eventers popping dirty at this level. Come on, Joseph. Cocaine, bro. And let me tell y'all something. Cocaine is also a masking agent, y'all.
Yes, it is.
He might have popped for cocaine, but he'd rather pop for cocaine to hide something else. Because cocaine, you could just brush it off saying, okay, look, I got a little niff problem. But if he pops for a strong ped, that's something else. That leads to suspension and everything else.
Which is why Ryan was taking so many different substances during that time with Devin. He was drinking,
and
he was smoking, he was doing some other things too that we might not even be made aware of, but it was all to mask exactly what he was truly doing. And at the end of the day, that resulted in his voice fliction changing. That resulted in his behavior changing. He exhibited roid rage. Remember, he was arrested after the fight. We're talking about, and still you guys are brushing that away like it's really nothing. But it is something, people.
You see what Callie said? They were trying to put that on Bud. Hey, go back to 60. Janabek. That dude popped dirty immediately. You see what I mean? That's why Bud, stay gone, brother. Don't give it to him. Don't come back, brother. You did what you did. You in the books. We could pop our shit about you. Don't let them lure you back for anything. Not even Canelo. Fuck that. They don't deserve it. Bud been a gym rat. These dudes popping dirty for all these. If you have something that's a foreign substance in your system that your body don't produce, you cheated, man.
And I'll tell you something else they're very angry about. One of the biggest cheaters in the sport with the biggest name in the sport that even had things adjusted for him, including sanctioning fees, as well as the levels of banned substance can be found in his system, is Canelo Alvarez.
That's right.
And Bud Crawford went in there and beat his ass. And Bud ain't dirty. So you're angry because that happened, and Bud is gonna go sit down now on Mount Rushmore and watch this shit from a distance pop, because it ain't gonna stop.
Can I ask you Knuckle Draggers a question? The whole Reynoso gym popped dirty. And I see more videos about Deontay and Devin Haney and Bill Haney, but the whole Reynoso gym popped dirty, y'all. The whole fucking gym. Oh, Andy Ruiz left, but the whole gym popped dirty. The whole gym, from Neary to Canelo to Ryan that was there, the whole gym popped dirty. And the poster boys of suspect drug abusers is Snack.
And Drew, how many videos have I done on that subject? And how have I not talked about Suleiman in the WBC?
Man, at least 7 that I could think of off the bat, probably more.
Yeah.
But y'all want to come in here and argue about what it's not when we're seeing it.
I talked about Conor Ben. I talked about Dillian White.
Oh, I'm not done with that.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah. What I'm saying is I've been talking about it, right? I don't do a video a day on it, but I talked about it in detail. It's there, but the people just refuse to accept what's really the truth out here. I talked about Tyson Fury. I talked about the people who were associated with Tyson Fury and his camp. I talked about, for goodness sakes, I talked about Sugar Hill Stewart and how he being an accessory in concert, as you've been known to say, and the fact that I referred to him as sweet and low. Didn't I do that?
Yep. These guys are trained, man. And I see you stay dangerous, man. I know all about the amateurs. The glove cheats, hand wrap cheats, drug cheats.
When we had Micah Fox on and we were talking about that situation, the WBA, what they tried to pull with him,
they pulled it. They got away with it. They got away with it. It's ridiculous. They got away with it. They cheated Michael Fox. And when we talk about these things, they say, oh, we're whining about it. We talk about the protection of all fighters. As a matter of fact, we tried to, we talked up AJ. Man, listen, your contract up. Don't resign with this guy. Go off on your own. You got the name, you got the status, you have the skill set.
You know what AJ would have been better off doing? Leaving Matchroom and going right over to Queensberry. That would have been his best move.
Yeah, I honestly think Frank Warren would have did better by him. But
of course he would have.
He would have been forced.
Because he was already a star. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And Frank would have just made sure that he got some people around AJ to help him in the ring with his skill sets and stuff like that to be able to fight at the top of the division. To be perfectly honest, AJ potential is gone now. He's nearing 40 years of age. His career is pretty much, But at the time, a few years ago, before he re-upped with this lifetime commitment to Matchroom, if he had jumped ship and went over to Queensberry, I guarantee you Frank Warren would have worked some magic for him. Because see, understand that Frank Warren goes back to Don King days. And he understands everything about the sport of boxing. If you look at his stable of the fighters he has presently and the events that he's put on some bangers, bro. And that's no pun intended.
Yeah, I got to pack this up. I got to bust this moves, got to get the cooking. I got the Black Eyed Peas going, college and stuff. So I got to bust this move. Yo, man, Happy New Year. Salute Sensei joining me this morning. Appreciate that, man.
Same to you.
You already know how to find the Sensei. But let them know anyway, bro.
Yeah, everybody can find me right here on YouTube. I got 2 other channels. Stormy B Man's Temple of Culture and Entertainment, Stormy B Man's Kung Fu Temple, and of course the main channel, which is Stormy B Man, which is Stormy in all caps but no cap. Happy New Year, everyone.
Follow us all on Rumble. We over there. it's gonna come a point where we're gonna be going live over there because we have a lot more freedom over there to do and say what we want, play the music that we want, the videos that we want over there. And if you want to get more in depth, follow us on Patreon also. I'm on Patreon. I just posted video last night in reference to the Deontay situation. I got more in depth. All right. And I didn't want to put that up on here. All right, y'all gotta go pay for that, man, because fuck you too. They let certain people say certain things. So I just move it around. You know what I mean? But salute to y'all. Happy New Year. And rock and roll into 2026. I'm not dealing with no foolishness. All right. If I'm in my bag and I'm talking, all right, please don't come in here. Do yourself a favor. Don't come in here flinging rocks and trying to disrupt what I'm doing here. You know what I'm saying? Because storm me till you get to the back of the classroom. I'm not on that this year. I'm just throwing you the fuck out. I'm not dealing with it. If you come in here late and you don't know what the temperature of the room is, you can't listen for 10 minutes to find out or just rewind to see what I'm talking about, I'm just gonna throw you the fuck out of here. I'm not dealing with it. That's the end of it. So boxing is speaking the truth all year of 2025. I'm just letting y'all know that. And watch what you say, because God's always listening. I'm glad AJ's fine. Prayers up to the family of him and his friends and everyone involved that lost their life. All right. But the prayers I'm giving AJ and everyone around him is not the prayers that you give Deontay and Devin. And that's on y'all. Instead, y'all run behind niggas like this, Southpaw, praying that Devin die. Okay? All right. How was Tank's 2025 and compared to everybody else? All his contemporaries got busy. They got work. From Cruz to Roach to Devin to now Shakur and T.O. about to mix it up. And where your man Tank at? It's going to be real interesting when he does get in the ring. I'll be watching. Y'all going to be nervous. I'm not. Because I know how this ends. We've seen it before. Happy New Year. Bronx on deck.
Move!
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.